prevail, it shows me I can do it too, right? That I can do scary things and live to talk about it. And we can have that conversation today. So I'm doing improv all the time, just in a virtual world.
That's kind of cool. Well, hey, with what's going on in the world right now, we kind of need to go that direction.
We'll talk about that. Life is improv. I always say, I'm like, you never want a pandemic or anything bad to happen, but I have been prepared for this moment my whole life. I think us improvisers are the most prepared, underprepared people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And we are used to not having a script. We are used to shit hitting the fan, right? And things not going the way we expect them. And you can develop that skill. It's a muscle, and I can help you with that.
That's outstanding. Okay, well, I'm going to properly introduce you now. Sid, did we get live? It's not showing. As soon as I say that, every time the live thing pops up, I swear to God, it's like magic. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Dose for all you guys that are on here on the Zoom with us live. And for those of you who will be hopping on and watching this on Facebook, either live or on replay, throw us a comment in there so that we know that you got to see our special feature Friday guest this morning, Miss Judi Holler. Judi owns a creative company that's on a mission to help people live brave lives and empower leaders to lead braver teams, which is fabulous for us. Her work takes the experimental principles of the improv theater and helps you apply them to unscripted stage of everyday life. These ideas will teach you that you'll never be fearless. You can get really good at fearing fear less. Judi is the author of the best-selling book, Fear is My Homeboy, which is currently being translated into 2 languages and just celebrated its first birthday on May 28th. Judi is also the creator of the Fear Boss community, a community of brave humans dedicated to smashing comfort zones. We talk a lot about that. After Judi's time with us today, we'll have no doubt you'll be a Fear Boss too. Let's get this fear party started and welcome Judi Holler. And I just love your last name.
Oh, Holler. I mean, I can't even. So when I married my husband, I was like, we just have to have a conversation. Like my last name is not changing, you know. I got married a little later in life, and we don't have any kids of our own or anything. I have 3 stepsons, but yeah, I mean, and I had built my business and really my brand at that time. But yeah, Holler. I mean, I feel like I was destined for that last name. So yeah, Judi.
Well, one of our partners on here, just really quick, she's floating around here somewhere, is Sunshine Green, and we are not related. We just end up having the same last name. But the story goes, I went to interview her for a position at one of my companies years ago, and that's how we met. And I saw her resume come across my desk. Number 1, she had the same last name as me, but number 2, her first name was Sunshine, and I didn't care how good she was at the job. I had to meet this girl. So I called her in for an interview, and our lives both drastically changed because we are the best of friends now. But I told her she just recently got married this last summer, and I said, you can't change your last name. Like, well, publicly I won't. Legally, I have to.
Like Sunshine, no pressure. Like Sunshine cannot be in a bad mood. Like the pressure that Sunshine must have in her life to like always be high vibe. I don't know if anybody has that challenge, but you know, has anybody done the Enneagram? So I'm really big into the Enneagram. Okay.
Yes.
And I lead as a 7. So I'm a 7. I thought I was a 3 forever. If you haven't done the Enneagram, I invite you to go. We got a type 1. Wow. So I have a direct line to a 1 and a 1. Oh, 1s. So hard to be a 1, right? This idea of like beating, you know, perfection and beating yourself up. And did I do it right? And am I good enough? And oh my gosh, I mean, so when I am a 7, when they're their lowest, they are a perfectionist and they're up. Someone slipped off mute. Okay, here we go. So the Enneagram, Brooke, is what it's called. And yeah, and so like there's all kinds of tests you can take and books you can read, but I just had a consult with someone yesterday, and it was just this idea of like, and now I've lost my train of thought because we went off mute and then I started looking at all the numbers, but the moral of the story is like, I am 100% a 7, no doubt about it. And if you don't know your Enneagram, I think it's a really beautiful way to, here's where I was going, Sunshine. So as a 7, we are very optimistic, and what our blessing is that we always have a lot of things going on, and freedom is our power word. We want to be free. We do not want to be bored. We don't want basic. We like to always be in motion. And it's also our curse because it means that gluttony becomes a problem. Gluttony from the fact of more, 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 more. So a 7 is a really hard time to just simply be, but we're always expected to be up, right? So you start to build this role in your life where people just expect you to be high vibe. And there are times you just can't be high vibe, that you just need to not be the sunshine. You just need to like sit in your room and close the door and inspire yourself and just sort of reboot your system. And so the Enneagram is really powerful in so many ways. It really can give you a beautiful and powerful look at how you're motivated and how you can get a little bit more of the 9 other types in your life. Man, it's fun stuff. I digress. But yeah, Sunshine, I wonder what her Enneagram is. If she's not a 7, I'd be surprised.
I can't remember. I feel like, Sid, when we did mine, wasn't I a 7? I feel like
you and
I know that Haas and I were close, and you and my husband were close. Sunshine, I don't know what she was.
That's funny. Yeah, no.
Oh, you think I was a 4? Yeah, maybe.
I think Ken was actually.
That's so fun.
Now we need
everybody's numbers are. I digress. But anyway, awesome to be here. What a great way to start the weekend off with you guys.
Yeah, so that was another question I was going to ask you before we got started. Do you want me to just ask you questions, or do you have a topic that you just want to share with our community and talk about? We are open to either.
Wow. Okay, cool. So, maybe how about this? What would serve you best? I am happy to have a Q&A if there's any specific. How long do we have together this morning?
We have as long as you are available, but we usually go about a half hour. Sometimes speakers on Fridays will go longer just because they get on a roll, and so don't feel like you're on a time crunch unless you need to be off. So we can do this however. We are a free-flowing community and a live event that we just kind of like to roll with the punches and not have things so scripted, I guess. We are non-scripted people. So I guess that goes good with the improv.
Okay, cool. I love this. We are improvising right now, and that's always a big joke. Like, life is improv. I mean, let me know if you've woken up with a script. When was the last time anybody on this call has ever woken up with a script? Now, you're going to have goals and plans and a to-do list and stuff you want to get done. But we have no script. And I think the world is really waking up to this idea of that now more than ever. Like, we have to be able to manage disruption and change and everything going on in the world, even from the perspective of social injustice and what's going on with all the political unrest. Like, we have to be able to listen and to navigate change, and to do that in a way that allows us to stay bravely in forward momentum. And so improv and the ideas from improv really help us do that. So if you guys are cool with it, here's what I'm thinking. We could vibe here a little bit, and I could run through like a little micro presentation. There's a talk I do, and I could give you like the cliff notes of it and really share the 5 big ideas. It's called the discomfort zone. And I think from an entrepreneurial perspective, it would really help y'all think differently about what's going on right now. And I break down the brave framework that I really use as a manifesto for my life, and most certainly as a business owner. And then after that, maybe we take some questions. So maybe we go, because I have a call that starts around 9:30 Eastern. So if we go till about 9:30, maybe about 45 minutes here. So I'll talk for 30 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of questions, and we'll roll out. How do you guys feel about that?
That sounds perfect. We are open to anything. Just like I said, I'm happy to flow however you want to. We want to know about Judi Holler. We want to know, like,
Cool.
a lot of us just got done reading your book or listening to you on Audible, which is my preference, and your personality shines through on that. So we will be sharing your book out to everybody who hasn't gotten it yet, but just a little bit about that, and really anything goes. So you lead, and we will follow, and or I can ask questions when you want me to.
I love this. So a little bit for those of you, I love this. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll put up some things on the screen, and I was beautifully introduced, so I don't want to waste a lot of time there. But I do own a creative company that is on a mission to make the world a braver place, and I do that through my keynote speeches and the courses I design and the products I create and through our community. Let's see if I've got slide. Let's see. Oh, I'm at the end. Oh gosh, there's spoiler alert. I want to show you guys something. Okay, hold on. There we go. So my work, what makes my work really unique is the fact that I use improv to teach some of those ideas. So you can see a photo there of me on stage doing improv at a live event. I'm doing that virtually now. And what's so fun about using improv is that I am able to creatively find a way to help people think differently about fear. And I really think that for me, that's my origin story. Everything for me changed when I started studying improv theater at Second City in Chicago. I started to get brave on the improv stage, and I used my training to do that, to like succeed through the fear, to work with the fear, to go scared, if you will. Yet that started bleeding over into my professional life. And I started to get really brave in the boardroom and really brave as a businesswoman. And it really helped me do some bold things in my career, like quitting my full-time job and my big fancy salary with benefits to become an entrepreneur and to start my own business. And so there are some tenets from the improv theater that, like the two words behind me in neon, yes, and that are powerful tools we use to stay in forward momentum and to really design a life on your own terms. Now, this doesn't mean we're not scared. It means that we choose to work with the fear. We allow fear to be a part of our life, you know, and instead of allowing fear to drive the car, fear rides shotgun, right? Like I drive the car. Fear can mess around with the map. Fear can play with the radio. Fear can mess with the sunroof, roll up and down the windows. I don't care. That's great. Have a good time. But I'm driving this car and I'm calling the shots. And I'm so glad you're here. Like, thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for reminding me that I'm alive. But this is my life and these are my decisions. And I love you for being there for me. And by the way, do you ever take a day off? No, I don't think you do. But today I'm the boss. Today I'm in charge, and today I'm calling the shots in my life. And that's what it means to be a fear boss, which is the community that's really been built, you know, from the ideas that were presented in Fear is My Homeboy. So we're watching the brand sort of really take on a life of its own. And really we've built this community of fear bosses who are driving their own cars, and they're out there smashing comfort zones and experimenting with fear on the regular. So let me share a couple of things with you guys. Let me see if I've got these slides. I wasn't sure what y'all wanted to do. Okay, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. Okay, great. So y'all can see me, right? Okay, great. Let me go back a couple slides here. Okay, so we have a mantra and a mission in the Fear Boss community, and it is this. We believe that our freedom, our professional freedom, our financial freedom, our physical freedom, our spiritual freedom, all our health, I think I said physical, all of it, all the freedom that you want in this life really requires you to be willing to do the uncomfortable things required in order to earn it for yourself. And that is why I wrote the book. I have found in my life that when we open the door, when we choose to go scared, when we choose to do the uncomfortable things that most people aren't willing to do, you will earn all the freedom that you want in this life. And so a fear boss is really chasing freedom, and they do that by experimenting with their fear every day on purpose. And that means you're out there smashing comfort zones, doing the uncomfortable things required in order to earn a comfortable life. And we do that by putting ourselves in these awkward, uncomfortable situations. So let me know in the emojis or in the comment section what your go-to emoji is. For me, this what's up on the screen, because I know some of you are driving and walking. I have the awkward face emoji up on the screen right now. I feel like I feel like I am the awkward face emoji. I feel like that is definitely my go-to emoji. I don't know what y'all use, crying, laughing face emoji. Yeah. But I feel like I am the awkward face emoji. And I guess the thing that I want to say to you is, and hold on, I'm just going to pull something up here to make sure. Okay, good. The thing I want to say to you is, if you really think about the awkward things that we do in our life, right? This awkward face emoji that I feel like most days I feel awkward, right? But I'm doing it anyway. And if you really think about, I love this crying, laughing face, smirking face. So good. I love the crying, laughing face. It's in my top 5. If you really think about all the things that you do in life or all the things that you have in life, rather, that you love, you have done something really awkward and uncomfortable in order to earn it. So think about just high level. Think about your spouse, your partner, your significant other, if you have one. It required you to go on that super uncomfortable first date. Like, first dates are so uncomfortable, and someone had to ask someone out. Maybe you got on the Tinder, maybe you were, on Match.com or something, you put yourself on eHarmony, whatever you're doing, you have to put yourself out there, and you have to go on that awkward first date, and someone has to be like, hi, do you want to go out with me? Think about your best friend, like the person you love the most in the world, your ride or die. Someone had to be like, hi, do you want to be friends? Like, would you want to go to this party with me? Super awkward, right? You think about your business, the business you've started. You've had to make the uncomfortable decisions required in order to go do that for yourself. Think about your health. Your shining faces are on this webinar right now. You are healthy and you are here. And the reason you are here is because you are doing the uncomfortable things required in order to earn that. I don't know about you, but there's not many people I know that actually like kale. If you like kale, please let me know in the comments. Oh, you like it, Natasha. Oh my God, I love this. But think about it. Okay, so think about it. Okay, if you like kale, great, you're a unicorn. But most of us don't really love kale, but we drink the green juice, we put the collagen in our coffee, we work out, we move our body, we take the vitamins, we do all that uncomfortable stuff in order to earn a comfortable, healthy life. So the moral of the story is, anything that you value and love in life has really required you to walk into the discomfort zone bravely in order to earn it. And that's what we're obsessed with. And so I made the Fear Boss mission, our business mission, this idea that we believe our freedom lives in smashing comfort zones. I did that on purpose so that I am not playing it safe. I don't want to play it safe. I don't want to do the easy thing. I am always here for the hard conversation, the hard thing. And is that easy? No. But is it rewarding? Absolutely. There's this beautiful quote by Jerzy Gregorek, and I believe he was a Russian weightlifter. I could have the country wrong, but you get my point. He was a weightlifter, Jerzy Gregorek, and he says this: easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. So when you write namaste, Jessica, like, I saw that, yes, like, what a beautiful way to sum up what it means to dance in the discomfort zone. So as a fear boss and as a fear leader and as an improviser, we're obsessed with the discomfort zone. We say yes and to that because we know it's in that place all the magic lives. I have this little drawing on my whiteboard back here. So like, I believe the discomfort zone is like this magical kingdom that all the best things live in. And the mayor, so I don't know if you can see this. Here we go. So which way? Okay, I'm mirrored wrong, but it's okay. At the very top, how do I do this? I don't know. Here, let me go to this screen so I can see myself. I'm mirrored wrong. Okay, so right here's my building. Right up here, the very tallest building up in the penthouse with the pool and the palm trees, that's the mayor of the discomfort zone. And the mayor of the discomfort zone is freedom, because that's what we all really want, more freedom, personally, professionally, financially. I mean, think about it. Professional freedom looks like doing the work you love the way you want with people that rock. I mean, that's a dream I'm chasing all day long. Health freedom, the freedom to live healthily and live a long time with ease, mental freedom, the freedom to manage anxiety and not get deep down in depression and overwhelm. I mean, these are all things that require work, right? And so I believe the mayor of the discomfort zone is freedom, but all the people living in this city are things like joy and creativity and wonder and play and confidence and, of course, courage. And there is a bridge that takes you from the comfort zone into the discomfort zone, and it is the bridge of bravery. And I want to kind of break down what that looks like today. But first, we have to talk about a couple of things. Number one, I have this girl up on the screen because I think so many of us feel this way most days, that we sometimes just want to hide, and or we're wanting to do something new for ourselves or in our business, but we worry that we're going to publicly fail, or that we're going to let people down, or that people aren't going to like us, or that people are going to judge us, or that people are going to make fun of us. And here's the cold, hard truth. And I hate to break it to you, but people already don't like you. People are already judging you. And people are already making fun of you. Can I get an amen? Yeah. So the question is, who are you living your life for? Who are you running your business for? Who are you creating things for? Who are you in your relationship for, in your marriage for? Who are you raising your kids for? You or the rest of the world? And are you in too deep worrying about other people's opinions? And I love this idea, and maybe this will set you free too, but like, here's the thing I like to think about. Like, if people are already talking, let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about in a good way. I'm not trying to say go be mean and hurt people, right? Create things with love, lead with love, and you will be okay, right? And if you're leading from a place of love, you're going to be okay. And there's going to be some people that can't handle your joy. And I want to say this to you too. The world is a very scary and hard place right now. There are people that can't get out of bed. There are people that have no income. There are people that have lost income on both sides of the family. There are people that are ill, and there are people that are struggling. So I say to anyone right now, if you have joy in your heart, if you have light to give it, because we need it now more than ever. And here's something else I want to say to you. Your positivity does not discount that there is pain in the world. And your optimism does not deny that there are people suffering, that there is suffering. But what it does do is keep you in forward momentum. And if you have it to give it, because there's people that don't have it for themselves. So if there is someone telling you, giving you trouble for being too happy or being too high vibe, get rid of that. Block and bless, because let me tell you, we need it. And just because you are happy, block and bless is one of my new favorite things. And on Fridays, I do unfollow Fridays. I unfollow people who make me feel like crap about myself. Or just people who, sorry, you do not have an open mind. You aren't listening. You aren't willing to change. Goodbye, right? Block and bless. So do not allow anyone to make you think that you can't be happy and you can't be positive in a time that's really challenging. And for someone who has struggled with anxiety her entire life, before anxiety became like a thing that I think everybody has. And I think anxiety a couple of years ago kind of been the cool thing, because everybody's on social media and we're all stressed out, but I've had it my whole life. And if I don't stay up, I worry I'll get to a place I can't get out of. And so for me, optimism and positivity and really hustling for joy is my medicine. It is my way to see possibility and to see positivity, but it doesn't deny that there is suffering and that there is pain. And I am working all the time to make sure that I'm helping in the areas I can help, and vice versa. And I know you are too. So I wanted to have that conversation with you. And I also want to talk about this word fearless, that is marked out, and it's marked out on purpose, because I think this is why we get confused. We are chasing this unrealistic notion of fearless. The world is telling you to go be fearless, right? And there's fearless everything, books and t-shirts and jewelry and bumper stickers. And I really loathe this word. I hate this word. And I happily will rant on this word any chance I get, because think about it. If you were really fearless, you would do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like you would never pay your taxes. Maybe you wouldn't, I don't know, would you? If you were really fearless, you would never go to a doctor. You would walk down dark alleys alone at night by yourself. You'd walk into traffic. You'd eat poisonous foods, like on purpose. And Elizabeth Gilbert wrote this in her book, Big Magic. If you haven't read Big Magic, you should. She says, listen, the only fearless people I know are 5-year-olds and sociopaths. So I know we love 5-year-olds, but we don't want to be 5. And we're most certainly not sociopaths. Yeah, so no, the goal shouldn't be fearless. The goal should be figuring out how to fear our fear just a little bit less, and this is what makes you brave. The goal isn't perfect. The goal isn't fearless. The goal is figuring out how to be just a little bit braver than you were yesterday. So I've got this, ooh, spoiler alert, the first word's already out, but I've got this little framework. I'm gonna walk you through the 5 pieces of the framework, but I really believe that there is a bridge that takes you bravely from the discomfort zone into the comfort zone, and it requires you to be brave. And so I believe each letter of that word stands for something really important, and it has become sort of my roadmap, of course, inspired by the improv theater, to help me bravely do the uncomfortable things and to get more comfortable in the discomfort zone, which we're all in right now. So let's jump off with B, which is for boss. If you've read my book, who's read my book? I'm assuming most of y'all on the call. Okay, a lot of us have, some of us haven't. So I love this. Great, great, great. Fear serves the purpose. You're right, Amy. I couldn't agree more. Brittany, she has anxiety, but I block and then I look at the positive. You know, have a blessed day. That's awesome. I love this. Okay, so Sunshine's on the call. Hi, Sunshine. We talked about you. I don't know if you were there for that moment. Okay, in the book, I have a whole chapter dedicated to the CEO of you, to being the boss of you. And we have to start with boss because some of you are running businesses and you're the CEO of that business. Some of you are also running families and you're the CEO of that too. But the most important job you have is this. You are the business of you, because here's the deal. Nothing works if you don't work. And so we have to think very seriously about this business that we're running. And are you protecting the assets in this business, which are your health, your energy, your intellectual property? Are you learning enough? I mean, Warren Buffett was recently interviewed and they asked him what the best investment someone could make is now more than ever. And he goes, knowledge, always knowledge. You will never run out of value when you are investing in yourself. You will be able to adapt and overcome and achieve. So are you learning enough? You know, if you want different outputs in your life and in your business, you have to DJ up your inputs very smartly. You know, are you following people and reading people that only look like you, only talk like you, only think like you? Or are you putting more creative inputs? Like, I have been on a mission lately to, one of the things I'm doing to really think differently about my intellectual property, which is a massive asset as the CEO of me, is to think about what I am following and what I am reading. And I'm following, like, so as a creative entrepreneur, constantly thinking about books and courses and creative ways to DJ out ideas. I am following really fun stuff right now. So like, I'm following a couple tap dancers right now that are blowing my mind. They're not only really fun, but they are so creative and they take you up behind the scenes on their creative process. I'm following DJs and graffiti artists and scientists, and I'm following people that teach me new things. I am making it a point to like read more biographies, which is a bit of a fear experiment, which we'll talk in a minute, because I'm like, I could easily read personal development or I could easily read fiction, which is great. And you should. But I've been pushing myself, you know, to read more biographies, to learn a part of someone's story a little bit more deeply, listening to podcasts that have like science in them and stuff, which is like, oh, super uncomfortable, but I'm learning so many cool things. And I'm not doing this all the time, but I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to really think of yourself as the business before even your business, because nothing works if you don't. And are you making big, meaty deposits into the bank of you every single day? And what does 2042 you look like? That's awesome to think about, but what are you doing today to make sure 2042 you even exists, right? And so being a boss is number one, a fear boss, but also just a boss. And I really take issue with a lot of the like a boss stuff out there right now. You are a boss, not like a boss, like a what? No, you are a boss. You're not like anything, like even like a girl. No, you are a girl. You are a boss. You are this, right? Like, let's go. Let's go. You know, that is a limiting belief. And I had a lot of that stuff, like a boss, coffee mugs, like a boss. And I was like, wait, no, I'm not like a boss. boss. I am a boss. You get what I'm saying here. So that's why we have to start with B for boss. R, one of my favorite words on the planet, this idea of ruckus, causing a ruckus. And a fear boss and someone who lives bravely in the discomfort zone is not afraid to do things different than everybody else. And what ruckus for me means, it means that you are willing to rattle the cage of mediocrity with your courage. A fear boss does not do basic. And in the discomfort zone, you have to be willing to do things differently. Here's the bottom line. If you want a different life, if you want a different business, if you want a different relationship, you have to be willing to do things different than everybody else. And so the ruckus is reminding us that the discomfort zone requires that. And you can't play it safe and be brave. You can't play it safe and be brave. And so we are always on a mission to, with love and with respect, cause a ruckus and to do things different than everybody else. And that requires us to take action, which is the A, and this is the meat in the work that we're doing on fear. So I wrote about this idea loosely in Fear is My Homeboy. I made it like a homework assignment, and now it's become the big idea. I said it once on a keynote stage and it took on a life of its own, but it's this idea of experimenting with your fear every day on purpose. So the action is everything. And it's in the middle, it's sandwiched beautifully in the middle of this framework, because you could be a boss all day long. You could be brave enough to cause a ruckus, but if you don't have the guts to take action and do things differently, you're gonna stay stuck, safe, and just the same. So I invite you to become fear scientists with us in the Fear Boss community. And this means that we are out there experimenting with our fear every day on purpose. It means that we are choosing to get uncomfortable on purpose regularly in order to build our brave muscle. I believe that just like your muscles, your courage and your bravery is an actual muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger you get. I believe the same is true with creativity. The more you do creative things, the more you schedule play into your calendar, you will work and prime that muscle. And it's uncomfortable, but it's the hard work that will really keep you very healthy. Same with courage, right? If you're not dating if you don't date your spouse or your partner, you're gonna lose that relationship. If you don't date your creativity, you're gonna lose that relationship. If you don't date your bravery, you're gonna be really hard to be brave. So fear experiments are our way of dating our fear and making sure that we're visiting with it regularly, making sure that we talk to it and take it out and buy it flowers and do all the things that we need to do to really nurture that relationship. So I invite you to become a fear scientist with me and the Fear Boss community, and we are conducting fear experiments on the regular. So fear experiments could be really big things like quitting your job to start a business, leaving a toxic relationship, getting married, getting divorced, having a kid, writing a book, quitting a bad habit, losing 100 pounds, whatever. Those are really, moving to a new city, not knowing anyone, right? Those are really big fear experiments. But you don't need to jump out of a plane or get a tattoo or like free solo Mount Everest to prove to the world that you're brave. You can do small, and to prove to yourself that you're brave, you can do small everyday things and still make huge impact in your life. So small fear experiments look like turning your camera on a Zoom, if that's uncomfortable for you, right? It could be asking the first question on a Zoom. It could be taking, because things are crazy with COVID right now. We're getting real crazy. I did this the other day. It could be taking a different drive to the grocery store just to see what happens, right? It could be listening to new music on Spotify. It could be trying a new food. It could be wearing sequin when everybody else is in black. It could be wearing cowboy boots when everybody else is in heels. It could be trying your hair a different way. It could be putting a pink strand in your hair. It could be painting your nails a different color. It could be calling a friend versus texting a friend. A fear experiment is anytime you do something a little uncomfortable. And the more you do this, the stronger and braver you get. You also start to change your story with fear. It puts you in control. And here's the best thing about it. If it is just an experiment and you're just a fear scientist right now, simply experimenting with your fear, you can't F it up because it's just an experiment. It is just an experiment. You can't fail, right? So in this mindset of a fear boss. We are always thinking about how can we experiment here? How can we do the uncomfortable thing in order to get more comfortable being uncomfortable? And that is what the improv theater is all about, which leads me into the next one, which is V for vulnerable. And this is a big one, y'all. The improv theater and life is all about being vulnerable. And this means that you are, and this is a perfect follow to fear experiments, because being vulnerable is required if you want to embrace the comfort zone, because it means you are brave enough to get it wrong so that you can get closer to getting it right. We have this mantra in the improv theater that there are no mistakes, only gifts, no failures, only opportunities. And we've probably heard this idea, right? You know, and as you're entrepreneurs, I bet you're out there failing all day long. Entrepreneurs are some of the best failures on the planet. And so, but some of us get stopped here because, right, we get worried, oh, what about what other people are gonna think? We're gonna publicly fail, it's not gonna work. Yet, if your new mantra can become, I'm gonna either win or I'm gonna learn, but I'll never lose, you set yourself free. So anything you do, you're either gonna win, means you're gonna crush it, or you're gonna learn something, which is gonna make you better, but you'll never lose it. I heard that from a mentor like 3 years, I had heard that off and on in my life, reading books and all this stuff. But you know, sometimes when you hear something and it just hits you, and you're at a season in your life, and I heard that and I was like, yes, that's right. It set me free, and it really changed my relationship with fear. And I heard it when I was deep in performance at the improv theater, and I was really afraid of taking risks on stage and being myself. And, you know, here I was in corporate America being told to like, be myself, but let me know first before you make any changes to the presentation, or feel free to do this on the sales call, but email me and copy the world before you do. Like, be yourself, but not too much, right? Whereas in the improv theater, I was showing up to class and they're like, I want you to, like, literally, we had an instructor that would say, before any big show, he would come out and he'd go, all right, guys, I want you to go out there tonight. I want you to fail. I want you to fail so hard. I want you to bomb so big and so bad. And we were like, what? Why would we? And like corporate America, Judy's like, oh my God, I'm like sweating. I'm even sweating telling you guys this. I'm like, it makes me nervous, right? Like, you're like, why would I fail and embarrass myself? But here's the beauty of it. Anytime, and think about this, most of us look at improvisers and we're like, they're like these ungodly creatures. Like, how do they do it? They're so smart. We're just using our training to succeed on stage, and we're embracing all the mistakes and turning them into gifts. Because here's the deal. When you see an improviser or someone that you look up to or think like, oh my God, I could never do that, mess up on stage and have a real moment, it gets the best laughs and the most reaction, because instantly that entire audience goes, oh, they're just like me. They're human. Oh my God. And we can see ourselves in that moment, in the bravery it takes to keep moving forward. This is why I love bringing improvisers on stage with me. Like this idea of let me see if I have that fit photo up. Yeah, like the idea of bringing regular people on stage and having them do this and having them succeed, because they literally blow their own minds and blow everybody else's minds. And it shows that, oh my God, you can do hard things and live to talk about it. And it's so empowering to have a beautiful human moment on the improv stage, but most certainly in life. So vulnerability is required in this life. And that's really what makes improv successful, is that we're brave enough to get it wrong so that we can get closer to getting it right. And I think that just really can set you free. And then last but not least, I'll wrap it up. Oop, wrong slide. Where did I put y'all? Okay, here we go. Last but not least, energy. And this is very important, and it really ties into being the boss of who you are. So it's really bookended on purpose, because the bottom line is this: you cannot be exhausted and brave. You can't be crazy busy and brave. You can't be overwhelmed and brave. Bravery requires energy and stamina and focus, and it requires you to be sort of awake and alive on the front lines of your life. So what are you doing to protect that energy at all costs? So we bookend the framework with this idea of running your business first and protecting the energy in that business at all costs, because none of this works. I mean, bravery and fear experiments and starting businesses and doing big, bold, brave things, man, that requires stamina. So what are you doing to prime that machine, you know, mentally, physically, and emotionally before you go take care of the rest of the world? And so my book shares some resources, and I actually have a new workbook that really goes deep on these ideas. It's a workbook called the Fear Boss Project, and it takes the 7 core ideas. Like we have this manifesto in our Fear Boss community. It takes the 7 core ideas, which are some of the ideas I talked about today, and it breaks them down and it puts them into like a workbook, you know? So this is, I have it in color and in black and white. The color one is so pretty. But it, you know, we go into these 7 ideas, but then there's like homework assignments at the end of the workbook where you like, this is the fear gremlin, right? Like what's all that stuff living in your head? And it takes a lot of these ideas and really puts them into actionable. So you can use this with your teams, with your book clubs. I really wrote this because there's so many sales leaders that are like, we need inspiration for our team meetings and we want to take your book deeper, and so much has changed. So the only reason I bring this up is A, it's awesome. I'd love for y'all to get it. If you liked Fear's My Homeboy, you're gonna love this. But yeah, it's all about action, right? And doing things to keep yourself in forward momentum. What else do I have before we go to questions? Oh, I'll give you this, a free resource. Might as well. I didn't even know I had the slide in here. So if you guys text BRAVE to 474747, you'll get some of my morning journaling pages, a couple of free chapters of my book, some cool screensavers for your phone. There might be some other fun things in there, but that's free. And it's a great way to stay connected. It'll also get you signed up for my newsletter, which is the Friday Fear Boss 5, comes out every Friday. It's a big old fear party in your inbox every Friday. And then my podcast, The Fear Boss Show, is always free. We have a community on Facebook, the Fear Boss fan page, which is all about connecting the Fear Boss community to each other and sharing fear experiments. You'll get so much inspiration. Join us there. And then of course, I'm on all the social media. Instagram is probably my favorite place to hang out. And the workbook, Laura, it's called The Fear Boss Project. I might have a slide. Yeah. And we've also got a store, which has my books, the workbooks, stickers. We got Fear Boss fanny packs. I did it. We got future Fear Boss onesies. It's crazy. The Fear Boss community wanted stickers and swag, so we have a whole store, and that's just all on my website. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Heidi, for linking it up. So let's jump in. About 15 more minutes here, 15, 20 minutes. Let's talk. Do you guys have, I went through that kind of fast. I wasn't sure if I was going to share slides or if this was going to be, what happened? Ooh, that's weird. Oh,
It was
so
weird. It was
hot.
like it went out of focus for a
It's
second.
so hot here. It's probably steam.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I ran this morning and then I ran right onto this
Good
after a hot
girl.
shower, and I was like,
Look at you.
buddy.
Deposit, bank of you. Deposit. That's really good. I love it. I love this. So talk to me. Does anybody have any questions? And maybe whoever asked the first question, it's your fear experiment for the day. Oh, let me give you guys a homework assignment. By the end of the day today, you have to conduct your first fear experiment. And I saw Brittany come on camera after I said that. So you have just conducted a fear experiment. So like, that's cool. That must have been like, you probably don't love being on camera. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna go on camera, see, fear experiment. And the more you do this, the braver you get. So go girl, you're done. So maybe you guys, okay, so conduct your first fear experiment by the end of the day. So maybe it's trying something new for dinner, cooking a regular recipe a different way. Maybe it's putting your phone down after 5 p.m., whatever it is. Maybe it's calling your best friend or calling your dad, calling your mom, calling your sister, calling your aunt, whatever it is. Maybe it's taking a walk without your phone. I've been doing that lately, where you literally just go for a walk with no tech. That's awesome. Fear experiment, because you're like, oh, you literally have to be with yourself, which can be really hard to do sometimes. So I want you to conduct your very first fear experiment by the end of the day today and tell me about it. Let me know on social media, send me a DM, tag me while you're doing it. I just love to hear. And we use the hashtag fear experiments, plural. So if you do that, tag me so I can find you. But I want you guys to get uncomfortable by the end of the day. And last disclaimer, you can't just do one fear experiment and think you've got it all figured out. Courage compounds, consistency compounds. Like, we have to look for little opportunities every day to do something a little uncomfortable. And the more you do this, the braver you get. And it could even be like your workout. You're used to lifting up 5-pound weights. You know what? For 3 reps, I'm going to lift 10. That's a fear experiment because it's uncomfortable, right? And so it's these little micro moments of bravery that make you really strong in the long run. Okay, cool. I'm done talking. Let's go to questions. Happy to answer any questions you guys have.
If somebody doesn't have one right away, because I hate silence.
Yeah.
But anybody
got
unmute?
Oh, Brittany's got one. Look at her. She's like, okay, I'm off camera. I'm gonna go first with the question. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, I have a question actually. How do you, like, I have a big thing with fear because I have a speech impediment. How do I get that, like, I think people's always talking about me, always making fun of me. How do I actually get that to go away from out of my head and just to push forward with everything I need to do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you just being brave enough to admit that makes me love you even more. Like, I love that. I think what's so cool is that we're living in a world. Here's what I want to say. Oh my God, there's so many things I want to say. Okay. You have to own the narrative. You teach people how to treat you, right? And so how do you turn this thing that you're afraid of into your freaking superpower? How can you turn that into the thing that makes people love you even more than they already do, right? And so it is a shift that will require a little time because there's some mental work that needs to be done. Yet you cannot allow that to become an excuse for your future. Excuses and some of these limiting beliefs that we have in stories about ourselves, whether it's a way we look, whether it's a way we were grown up, whether it's something we don't have in our life or money we don't have in our account or a speech impediment or an illness we're struggling with, those are real things, but they are not the whole thing. And you can choose to be a victim or you can choose to be a badass. And I know you're a badass. So how do you turn that into your damn superpower? I mean, for example, I know a girl, her name is Neen James. She's this little blonde Aussie from Australia. And she's a professional speaker. And she literally is like, hi, everybody. Like her voice is so high. Like to the point where if she doesn't call it out, like someone will own her narrative. She has taken her power back and said, here's who I am. Here's my story. And she has some playful fun with it. And she has built an insanely successful speaking and coaching career because now people who also have things that make them feel nervous about themselves have leaned into her courage, right? So you've got to snatch that narrative up. And the way you get braver and bolder is by working with it and experimenting with it and just slowly starting. Do you feel like it's holding you back in business, or do you think is it holding you back from doing the things you want to do, like showing your face or speaking up more or maybe filming videos, things like that?
Yeah, I have a problem going live, speaking, or getting on the phone with anybody.
Oh, I think you sound, first of all, you just did. You just did. And you did it beautifully. And you did it beautifully. And so the more you do this, the stronger and braver you get. So my challenge for you is to just keep running little tests with yourself and just start, like, when you would want to send an email, can you maybe pick up the phone? When you want to send a text, so start running the drill and working with the thing you feel is your weakness and start telling yourself a different story and let it become your strength and let it become the thing that makes people so endeared to you. You get to write your story. People don't get to write that for you. So just keep experimenting with it. But I think you're bold and beautiful and brave. And I love that. I love people who have real stories like that. And tell us the story of, I think those are the stories we want to hear from people, Own your narrative. Own your narrative. I love that. Yeah, and I love that Jessica Green just said, right in front of me here. So Jess just said, where I just lost you. Okay. And become the hero of others that have the same challenge. Yes. So she just brought up a great point. So I talk about this idea of being a fear role model. So you have an opportunity every day to be a fear role model. And when I see you be brave, it gives me the permission to be brave. When I see you love yourself, it gives me the permission to love myself. When I see you be confident, it gives me the permission to be confident. So people are watching you. So when we see you do something brave, when we see you put yourself out there, when we see you do the uncomfortable thing and survive, when we see you love yourself and be confident, everybody that's watching you and working with you will be inspired by that. And I think that is a beautiful responsibility to have. And if you have kids and friends and a following and people watching you, which is pretty much everybody on this call, they're watching you. So what messages are you DJing out with your courage and your confidence? So I love that you touched on that, Jessica. It's really perfect. Yeah. Any other questions?
I want to know, if nobody speaks up, I don't want to do all the talking, but if somebody has a question, please talk over me. But I want to know, before we let you go, Judi Holler is an improv stand-up comedian, is what you would say, right?
Well, just improv performer. So stand-up's very different. Yes. That's like,
okay.
Yeah, memorized monologue of jokes. Like Eddie Murphy, Jerry Seinfeld, we're more like no script.
Right. You guys make us laugh, but you're not necessarily called a comedian.
You're not writing it, yeah.
So with being able to do that and being up on stage a lot of times and being fearless, tell us like one time that you got up, you were on stage that was like your most, like, I don't want to say embarrassing, probably isn't the right word, but the one time that made you feel the most uncomfortable, that you did something in improv or on stage that you were like,
oh yeah, oh my God, there are so many. Oh my God, we still have this joke about the hat shop scene. So there was a group of us who, oh my God, so many bad scenes. So, and I've had like, on keynote stages, I've done improv, I do improv, and I have literally like fallen off a stage. I have had my shoe, I was wearing a high heel and we were doing something in a scene and my shoe hit a woman in the face because my shoe flew off and it hit a woman in the face, like the front part, not the bad part, but she was pissed, like not happy. And it was like really uncomfortable. Oh my God, I felt horrible. So those are like little embarrassing things and you just have to figure out how to rebound and just like, what do you do, right? But I've had so many scenes that have bombed, so many scenes. And we have this like, so when I was at Second City, in their conservatory, we had, a group in our different ensembles. There were a few of us going through at the same time. And then a few of you start to get friends. And then I had gotten together with like 6 other friends and we're like, let's create an independent ensemble. We called ourselves Control Alt Delete. And we were going to just play shows around town just to prime the muscle. So we're doing the work at Second City, but we're also doing like sandwich shops and like little restaurants in the basement of bars and all this stuff, like with 5 people watching, just to like, Cindy had a little visitor. I love it. So we would do all these like goofy shows and just to get better. And we have had so many bad ones. And one of them was like, we got a suggestion as like, we were in a hat shop. So we were all coworkers. So you get suggestions in the improv theater in order to do your scenes. And one of them was that we were all coworkers who owned a hat shop when we were like in this hat shop. And we were so new and so novice. And I'm not even going to do it justice. I wish it was on tape because it was so bad. But the first person, Michael, steps out and he goes, I think he said something like, oh God, look at all these hats. And it was just like this really, and then the next improviser jumps in and then she does the thing you're never supposed to do in the improv theater. She goes, but they're all so ugly. So in the improv theater, you're supposed to say, if someone jumps out and says, look at all these hats, you're supposed to jump in and go, yeah. And isn't it amazing that they're all made of sequin? And then someone else would say, yeah. And can you believe, or yeah. And, I love that we built this shop together. You guys, I think what we need to do is tell everybody how we feel about this in song, right? And so we would be yes-anding ourselves through the scene. And the first improviser jumps out because they were so nervous and says, yeah, but they're all like the ugliest hats. And then the next person comes in and and it was this really like negative, hard to get out of scene. And I just remember having like back sweat and no one was laughing. And it wasn't even like, I just wanted to run and hide. And it really leans into why we were so new. It really leans into why you have to use these 2 words if you're nervous in a scene, and you can use this in life, right? Like this idea of yes and. Yes And like, yes, I heard you. And ooh, here's what I'd add to that. And you can let that inspire your forward momentum. So that's a great question, but I've had so many embarrassing scenes. The hat shop is one we still talk about because it was just awful. I think one improviser, I think Laura left. Like, I think she literally like got herself off the stage and like went backstage. Like, it was so bad. And I've had many of those, so many, but we've had so many good ones. But you don't get the good ones unless you've earned the bad ones first, right? And so it's like anything in life, business, speaking, creating content. You go back and look at your first like Instagram post and you're like, what was that? What was happening? You know, so practice makes perfect. This was awesome, you guys. And you know what? Find me on the social media. If there's any questions, I wanted to make sure you guys got some value today, and I hope you did. And my goodness, thank you for reading the book. Thank you for being a fear boss. Thank you for the love. And if you have a question that didn't get answered, I'm in my DMs. I do my own DMs. Like, I don't have like a social media person doing that for me. So if you have any questions, just jump in and talk to me. And I hope to see you there. That's for sure.
We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so thankful. What a morning. I needed this more than I could even express to you right now. So I appreciate you, and we are forever.
I'm gonna do a little Instagram boomerang with you guys real quick. Hold on,
Yeah.
for the people I can see on my screen here. Let me get you guys up. Okay, yay.
Earned your cameras on.
I love it. Yeah, if you guys want to go on camera, do it. Let's do a little yay, yay. Oh yeah, everybody's on for the gram. Okay.
Everybody's on for the
Go for the gram. Okay, hold on. Okay. So I would say it's like, what is the right way to say it?
It's Preneur Network. So we're the anything goes Preneur Network.
The Preneur Network.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna do two things. Everybody stay there. I'm gonna do a boomerang first. Okay. Okay, yay. And then I'll send this so that you can post it on your page too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh gosh, whoops. And then I'll say, okay, perfect. All right, hanging out this morning with all these beautiful faces, the Preneur Network. Hi, y'all. Okay, give me the hands up emoji if we're ready to be fear bosses. And brave AF, yes, yes, yes. Look at these faces. Such a good morning. Happy Friday. Okay, cool. I'll just save and send them to you guys.
Thank you.
And then you can tag all the people and you can put it on your Instagram or whatever, and I'll do the same on mine.
Thank you so much for your time, Judi. I cannot even tell you how grateful we are.
I'm so glad. Thank you for having me, and I'm cheering you guys on. Go out there, kick ass, stay brave, and keep experimenting with your fear. That is what matters. Keep running those drills, running those reps, and trust me, over time, you'll change your life.
Thank you. You've definitely done that for us today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys. You're awesome.
Bye, guys. Have a fantastic weekend.
Bye, guys.